of it and whether or not it's... Oh my gosh. Getting a phone call. Hello? Yeah, no, I'm in the middle of something right now. I'm talking to my millions of fans. Well, you know, I mean, I've got a meeting with Leo after this, and we'll circle back on some of these issues, but it's really not my top priority. What do you mean, who's Leo? Leonardo DiCaprio. Yes, we're close. I call him Leo. All of his friends do. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I went on a book haul. That should surprise nobody. I go on those frequently, and in fact this book haul is the product of me going on several book hauls at various different places, and then basically putting them all in one big pile and talking about them all at once here. So which is how I usually do it. This book haul is particularly exciting because it's mainly penguins. Well, not mainly, but there's a ton of penguins. I found a ton of penguins, and that's always exciting because a penguin classic that's in a new condition, that or a very readable condition, particularly if it's short, for me is my favorite thing. Like a short penguin classic in a good condition in a used bookstore is like, I'm going to get it almost no matter what. And I found a bunch of those, so that makes me super, super happy. We'll start, though, with what's on top, and that's D.H. Lawrence's The Rainbow. And this is the Modern Library edition of The Rainbow, and I think it's really nice. I love this form factor. I love the paper dust jacket. These old editions of the Modern Library had these really nice hardcovers on the inside, and then on the inside of the dust jacket, they have a whole catalog of things that you could order. And this one comes with a little card for a baby. So that's pretty cool. Oh, speaking of cool, look what I have here. This is a copy of Flannery O'Connor's Everything That Rises Must Converge. Somebody gave this to me. Somebody sent it to me. How nice is that? I was looking for this. And you know what else I was looking for? Not as a PSA to send me anything, but I was looking for a copy of Eichmann in Jerusalem. That Penguin classic of Eichmann in Jerusalem is awesome, and I was looking for a copy of it. And I'll probably make a video tomorrow about what was making me think about it, but I really wanted to find it, and I went into Half Price Books today, just 10 minutes before I started filming. I was there, and they had it there, which was amazing, and my hand like snaked out right away to grab it, and I saw immediately that it was in really bad condition, which like is fine. Like I was just happy to find it. But I opened it up, and my God, the annotations in it were unreal. Like it was unreal. You couldn't read it because the person had marked it up so much that the ink that they were using, the pen, was eating through the page and coming through on the other side. And I've actually had that Penguin Classic before, and it's a really nice one. It's got those really sort of like buttery thick pages on it. I don't know how they did it, but they made it unreadable with the amount of annotations that they put in it, which sucks because I was really excited to read it, but I had to leave it behind. And by the way, I feel like if you annotate something that much, you should keep it. That's yours. Do with it what you will, but I think you should keep it because I mean, for me, most of my my annotations, if I start annotating a book, like physically writing in it, it's because I want to keep it forever. I don't really necessarily think that anybody wants to read my stupid annotations as I go through a book, and but especially if the annotations are so egregious that you can't even read it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too sensitive, but that one I had to leave behind, and I guess I'm just a little frustrated because I was looking for that one. I saw it, it was there, and then I just couldn't justify spending the money on it because it was just not readable. But I did find this. This is Henry Miller's, not Henry Miller, my goodness. It's Henry James Daisy Miller. This is a very short novel that Henry Miller, I did it again. I can't believe I keep doing that. Henry James wrote. Henry James, Turn of the Screw, Henry James. He also, there was a movie of this. I watched a movie of this with my friend recently. He loved it. He thought the movie was great. I was a little bit more lukewarm on it. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. But seeing the book in my half-price books was exciting because it's one of those short Penguin classics that I like in great condition. And I thought, well, maybe if I read the book, it'll make me appreciate the movie more, or maybe I'll just appreciate the book, or maybe I'll hate both. I don't know, but we'll see. Then we've got The Two Lives of Charlemagne. This is, I was actually dipping into this before this video. There's a nice critical apparatus attached to this from Penguin. There's 3 introductions here. There's one general introduction for Charlemagne, and then there's an introduction for our 2 separate authors here. The first one being Einhard, and then the other one being Notker the Stammerer. The Stammerer, there we go. Again, a nice short Penguin classic that I was able to get for like $3, which is awesome. And, you know, I'm reading about the Middle Ages right now. I love pieces of material from the Middle Ages or things that were written more contemporary with the Middle Ages. This is definitely one of them. As was pointed out in the introduction here, these 2 biographies of Charlemagne helped establish the legend of Charlemagne, which I think is really cool. So really, really happy to find this. Then we've got 2 books by Shirley Jackson. The first one being The Haunting of Hill House, in, again, a Penguin Classic. And then this one is a Penguin Classic Deluxe Edition. This is We Have Always Lived in the Castle. Penguin Classic Deluxes are really nice. Sometimes the covers don't quite do it for me, but they're always extremely well printed. They've got these French flaps. They've got these deckled edges. They're really just basically bulletproof. Some people like deckled edges, some people don't. On the Penguin Classic Deluxes, just because of how nice they are, I like them. And then we've got The Haunting of Hill House here too. Then we've got Procopius's Secret History. Admittedly, I did not get this used. I ordered this one online, but I ordered it because I'm reading that Justinian biography by Peter Saris. I put that on my TBR for this month, and whenever we're talking about Justinian, you immediately start thinking about Procopius. I don't know how much is fact, I don't know how much is fiction, but I'm happy to have it, and I'm happy to read Peter Saris. And I got it because I didn't have a copy of it. I've read it before, but I read it only in electronic version, so I'm happy to have it. Then we've got Arrian, The Campaigns of Alexander. I just got the Persian Boy by Mary Renault. So these 2 will make for some nice pairings, I think. Don't you agree? I will have the account written by Arrian, and then I'll have a novel to read after that, which I'm really excited about. Maybe I'll put that on next month's TBR. I'm really considering it. And then this is the last of the Penguins that I have in front of me. This one's really interesting. It's in perfect condition. Nobody read from this. This is a really nice floppy Penguin classic. This is Daniel Deronda by George Eliot. Obviously, George Eliot wrote a towering work of classic English literature with Middlemarch, you know, an unambiguous classic in English. But Daniel Deronda seems to be a little bit more divisive. Some people love it, some people don't. I'd love to know where the divisiveness of this book comes from, what it is that some people like about it, what it is that some people don't like about it, and what it is that distinguishes it from something like Middlemarch. I believe, and I have not read George Eliot yet, so I don't know, but I believe this is like a very unique book within her canon. So we'll see. I'm excited to read George Eliot in general. I haven't done it yet. But now that I've got this for, you know, $5 or whatever, I'm going to give it a shot and see what I think. Then we've got Siddhartha Mukherjee, The Emperor of All Maladies. This is his book on cancer. I was looking for his book on the gene. I didn't see it, but I did see this, and I'm happy to have it. I'll give it a read at some point, because obviously cancer is something worth reading about. Then we've got Thomas L. Friedman's The World is Flat. If you've seen a copy of this book before, you've probably seen it in a cover that looks like this. It's got this weird coin with the earth pressed on it. There was actually 4 brand new copies of this book. Oh no, 5 brand new copies of this book, brand new hardcovers of this book, sitting next to each other in a Goodwill bookstore that I was at. And they all had that cover except for this one. Well, the one that I randomly pulled out had this cover on it. I'd never seen this cover before, and that tipped me over the edge. Much like this boat, I was tipped over the edge by this cover. I don't know why. To me, this is just head and shoulders above that weird coin one. But yeah, it says it's a history of the 21st century. No idea what I'm going to get with this. I hope it's insightful. I hope it's not eye-roll inducing. I hope it's not ideological, but I have no idea. I've never read anything, and I really don't know anything about Thomas Friedman or this book. I'm going in completely blind. But maybe it'll be a treat. This one, though, this one was an immediate buy. This is one of those books that I just grabbed off the shelf and just kept walking. This is Helen Rappaport's After the Romanovs. Like everybody else on BookTube, I have the Stephen Montefiore, the Romanovs book. So these two will go great together. This sort of will function maybe as like an appendix to this one. What happens after the Romanovs, the surviving Romanovs, are exiled to Paris and what that looks like. Very interesting subject for a book, and right up my alley as somebody who enjoys reading about Soviet history. Then we've got the Huxleys. This is one that I bought off the internet. This is the other one that I bought off the internet. I knew I wasn't going to find this. I wasn't going to spend a million years looking for it. I really want to read this book. I've been interested in the Huxleys for a long time, and I was actually having a conversation with somebody over email, and they mentioned Fahrenheit 451, Ray Bradbury, and that sent me down a memory rabbit hole where all of a sudden I started thinking about all the books that I read in high school and wondering whether or not I should make a whole TBR about books that we as students in usually like the English-speaking education system were subjected to read, and making a TBR just with those books, and maybe books like this as well, and kind of revisiting them and seeing whether or not they aged well, seeing whether or not I liked them as much as I did when, like, for example, I read One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and it's been years since I read that. I would like to reread it and see what I think about it. It's been years since I read Fahrenheit 451. It's been years since I read A Brave New World. So I could pair potentially A Brave New World with a book like this. I could pair The Bell Jar with that Red Comet biography about Sylvia Plath. I could pair The Great Gatsby with that biography of F. Scott Fitzgerald called Paradise Lost. There's a bunch of things that I could do, and I was starting to think that would be a fun idea, and it would be a fun way to incorporate this into a TBR as well. And then we've got John Barth's Tidewater Tales. This was in their clearance section of my local half-price books. I've never read John Barth before. John Barth is an experimental novelist. He wrote a bunch of really strange and interesting books. He wrote a book called The Chimera, which is apparently off-the-wall nuts. Then he wrote a book called The Sotweed Factor. Then he wrote a book called Giles Goat Boy. Very interesting titles, very strange books. He wrote a book called Letters, where he apparently writes letters to all of his previous characters in his previous novels. I don't know. Experimental literature like this is now, for me, the bastion of all red flags. I don't have nearly as much patience for it as I used to. I don't have the patience that I used to have for books, written by people who think that they're cooler than the coolest thing since penicillin, because they write sentences that nobody can understand. So I don't know, but John Barth, I think, might be in a category of his own. A lot of people do seem to really like him, and I know nothing about the Tidewater Tales. Maybe this isn't the right place to start, but frankly, it seems like his books are pretty different from each other, and this might be as good a place to start as any. And for $3, I thought I might give it a shot. It is not a small book. This is clocking in at about 650 pages. So I don't know whether or not I'm going to stick through to the end of it. And I don't know when I'll end up reading it, but I'm happy to have it, and it might be good for, I don't know, going on a flight one day and throwing this in my bag. So there you go. Oh, and speaking of, this is the last book on the list. And speaking of somebody who thought that they were the coolest thing since penicillin, this is Jonathan Little, The Kindly Ones. This is, God, what a weird book. I probably never would have gotten this book, but it was for $5. It's this massive novel for $5. I thought, sure, why not? And Jonathan Little, I believe his dad, I forgot his dad's first name, but I believe his dad was a famous novelist as well. And this might be a situation of like, you know, Kingsley Amis and Martin Amis. You know, this might be Jonathan Little's version of Martin Amis's Money. You know, I'm not sure, but it is one of those books that comes out maybe under the shadow of his dad. And it was a book that was originally written in French. Little wrote it in French, and then when it came out in French in France, it was. I believe it was met with almost universal acclaim. People loved it. They thought it was an extremely impressive debut. They thought that, I mean, it won a bunch of awards, I think. It got a lot of positive press coverage. It was then translated into English. And then when it got into the English-speaking world, it was fraught with controversy. I think a lot of people were a little bit scandalized by it. A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people, you know, found it to be in poor taste or whatever. I have no idea what I'm going to think of it. You know, again, I have very little patience with books like these. If they are good and I like what I'm reading, I'll stick with them for sure. But if not, I DNF them almost right away. So I should mention it's a novel about the Nazis. The main character is apparently a despicable, you know, evil incarnation, evil incarnate, sort of in the form of some sort of Nazi. I don't know exactly what he does or how he functions. I believe he interfaces directly with Hitler at some point in the book. I think that he interfaces with a lot of, you know, famous and well-known Nazis like Goebbels and you know the top brass of the Nazi regime. I don't know. Another call. Leo's calling me back. I can't believe it. Hey, no, look, Leo runs all his scripts past me. He runs all his scripts past me. I'm the one who says, you should do this, you should stay away from this. I mean, why do you think he's in a new Pinchon adaptation? You think he came up with that on his own? No. I'm the one who said, do the Pinchon adaptation. It'll look cool. No, because we're in the same situation we were before. I've got a whole crew of people here. I've got 100 people behind the camera right now waiting on me. I've got the hair and makeup team. I've got the grips. I got the lighting system. I got all this stuff around me. And you're expecting me to halt this production. They're all union, by the way. All union. You expect me to halt this production so that I can take your phone call? No. I'm sorry. I got to go. Okay, so where was I? French. Where was I with this? I said, so it was originally published in French, and then, oh no, so I think I was describing the fact that the main character is a Nazi. I think I got through everything. So that's it, actually. We got caught right at the end of our discussion here. I'm not going to hold up a big stack of books because it's too much of a stack of books for me to hold up on camera all at once. But yeah, I hope you liked that. A lot of really interesting Penguin classics here. I mean, check that out. Nice thick stack there. So that'll be it for me. Thank you, BookTube.